If you're still on the fence as to why social media is important for your church, or if you need help convincing someone else of its importance, in this video I'm going to lay out the definitive case for why social media is necessary for your church. Well, hey there, I'm Brady Shearer. Let's start by thinking about this. Not too long ago, on January 1st, 2005, platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and Snapchat didn't even exist in the public's eye. Fast forward to today, and social media is one of the most dominant forces in our culture. And this is the core reason why social is so important to the future of your church: attention. I like to say that attention is the most valuable commodity that your church can possess. In fact, let me say it again. Attention is the most valuable commodity that your church can possess. I mean, think about it. Your church could have the most dynamic speaker, the most engaging worship, the most vibrant kids and student ministries, but if no one ever showed up, it wouldn't matter. Before we can share the hope of Jesus with anyone, or before we can disciple an existing believer, we need their attention. And this is why social media is so important to your church, because that's where the attention already exists. According to Pew, 68% of all American adults are on Facebook. So think about that for a moment. If there was a public space in your community where 7 out of every 10 people in your city visited regularly, would you have a presence there as a church? Absolutely. It goes without saying. On the flip side, let's look at church attendance numbers. In the year 2000, Barna reported 58% of adults had attended church in the last month. In 2015, however, that number had decreased to just 46%, a drop of 12 full percentage points in just 15 years. And sure, social media is important today, but it's going to be even more important tomorrow. Millennials like myself, we're natives to social media. We grew up on it, and currently 1 in 3 American workers is a millennial. That means we're not an up-and-coming generation. We're not on deck. As a matter of fact, we are currently the single largest age group in the American workforce already. And that piece of the pie that we currently own, 1 in 3, is only going to increase. It's only going to go up. Of course, beyond that, if you think social media is just for millennials, that's not true either. The most recent data from Nielsen revealed that the average adult ages 18 to 34 spends 6 hours and 19 minutes on social media every week. That's the millennial number, but even higher than that, higher than the millennials, are adults ages 35 to 49. They are spending 6 hours and 58 minutes on social media each week. And even those 50 plus are still spending more than 4 hours on social media every week. And the point I'm trying to drive home is this: for decades, our churches have poured the majority of our time, money, staff, and volunteers into creating a memorable weekend service, putting together the best 1-hour Sunday morning experience that we can. But we're currently living through the single biggest communication shift in the last 500 years, the biggest communication shift since the printing press. And so we need to begin to shift our focus. There are 168 hours in a week, and at Pro Church Tools, we're all about helping you seize the 167 hours beyond your Sunday service. Instead of pouring every last dime into improving your weekend experience, instead of demanding people pay attention to what you're doing, instead of looking at your community and saying, "Hey, come to us," it's time we begin to go to them and simply show up where their attention already is fixed. Social media has the infrastructure, they've got the audience, and most importantly, they have the attention. All we need to do is dive right in.
Social media has completely changed in the last couple of years. And traditional tactics like consistent branding and promotional posts, for example, mainly posting church programs and activities, don't work as they used to. So you might be wondering, what now works on social media? Attention is the most valuable commodity your church can possess, and it's most important on social media just like it is everywhere else. It's imperative for you to focus on the types of posts that are proven to stop people from scrolling. Your social media post should be something out of the ordinary, something that doesn't look like everything else on Facebook, something that leaps off the screen and that stops the scroll. It doesn't matter how amazing your message is, and it doesn't matter how amazing your post quality is. If it's not something that's going to interrupt the pattern on your social feed, and get your user to stop scrolling, it won't get the required attention. There are 3 types of posts that are recommended for churches on social media. They include: 1. Post that promotes spiritual practice. 2. Post that drives meaningful engagement. 3. Post about stories from your church. I will show you some examples of attention-grabbing posts that improve engagements of visitors to your page.
Name a worship song that has helped you feel closer to God. This specific post got 49 comments, and that compared to 12 previous posts is more than all of those other posts combined with. Love your enemies, do good to them, but keep a watchful eye. Well, no, that's not right. But put your country first? That's not it either. Lend and expect nothing back. Yes, those are the words of Christ from the Gospel of Luke. And the backbone of this kind of post is to show people the opposite of what they expect. You know, so many of us are so familiar with scripture and Christian ethics that it can be difficult to breathe new life into a verse that we've heard so many times. This can be a remedy for that. I'd incentivize this kind of post by offering a prize to the person with the closest guess. You know, maybe a $10 gift card to a local coffee shop. And let me say this, if you ever find yourself in a spot with social where it just feels like no matter what you do, you can't generate momentum or get people to engage, this post can be a lifesaver. Start here, pair it with a contest, and that can breathe new life into your online presence.
The question is, what worship songs move your heart closer to Jesus? Parentheses, we're making a playlist, end parentheses. So a similar question, but maybe for a different purpose. You're collecting feedback.
Peanut butter or jelly? Which trip method do you prefer, road trip or airplane? If you had to choose one place to live for the rest of your life, are you choosing the country or the city? 3 things Jesus never said, or 3 things you won't find in the Bible. And sometimes I like to use this kind of post to push back on certain ideas that I see creeping into the Christian zeitgeist that just don't belong, like following Jesus is not easy, so let's not expect it to be, because that's not what the Bible or Christ promises us.
Question, what's a familiar Bible verse you return to in times when you need it most?
Now, you're probably wondering how to create all of these posts, so let me break it down for you and share how we do it. Design is done in a platform called Sketch, because that's the design software we prefer, but we deliver the files in Photoshop because more people use it. And then animation is done in Adobe After Effects. And it takes a team of creatives to put together all of this content, which I get is not attainable for most churches. So to make this kind of content accessible to every church that wants it, we package it all together into our product,